We all been there. You're working on the mix till the little hours of the night, tweaking parameters, you press play the day after, and those harsh frequencies from the lead or from the guitar are still there. The bass sounds boomy, things sounds messy, and overall, you just can't figure out the solution to these problems. So these two plugins I'm going to show you will help you skip the guesswork, that will save you hours of time, and will help you to enjoy a nice and peaceful mixing process. But before we get started, it's important to understand the most common issues when trying to mix a song, so we can address these issues in the most efficient and quickest way. So the first one is frequency masking. When instruments occupy similar frequency ranges, they compete for space in the mix, making some instrument sounds muddy or muffled. Phase issues. Phase cancellation happens when similar sounds are slightly out of phase, causing them to sound weaker or completely disappear. This is a most common issue with kick and bass. Harsh frequencies. Harsh or sibilant sounds, especially in cymbals, vocals, hi-hats and drums, can fatigue the listener's ears because we are most sensitive to those frequencies. This can be caused by overemphasis in the high frequencies or poor quality samples or recordings. So today we're working on this really cool rock song. I will add a link to the band in the description below if you want to check them out.
No fun living under the gun.
No fun living under the gun. And the first plugin that we want to talk about is Fuser. This plugin is helping us solve masking issues. And in this case, we will use it on the kick and bass, and we will compare it to a traditional sidechain compression. So let's play the kick and the bass. First of all, let's add sidechain compression, so the bass can reduce in volume every time the kick is playing. Let's add a glue compressor on the bass, click sidechain and input from the kick drum. Reduce the threshold. Let's add an EQ to make it a little bit more precise. The issue here is that there is an audible reduction in volume of the bass. So now let's use Fuser. I added Fuser onto the bass channel, and let's set the sidechain input from the kick. And you can see in red the area of conflict, so we can press resolve conflict automatically. What this plugin does is carving space in the bass for the kick frequencies to cut through the mix. Instead of ducking the entire bass, it's only ducking the frequencies of the kick. Let's compare between Fuser and the sidechain compression so you can hear the difference clearly. It's a noticeable difference, and using Fuser will make your track sounding much more professional. Do you make electronic music and your mix sounding muddy or lacks clarity and punch? Check out Into the Mix. This course is teaching you everything you need to know to get your mixes sounding like your favorite producer. You will learn how to make punchy bass lines, driving percussions, sound selection, sound design tricks, how to use delays and reverbs, mixing, arrangement, and overall giving you a system to get your tracks gelled together and sounding professional. It will be somewhere on the screen. Let's continue to the vocals.
No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun.
So in a song like this, you want the vocals to be the main element. Let's use Fuser on the drums and guitars to help the vocal cut through the mix, and we will compare it to multiband sidechain compression. Let's start by soloing the drums and the vocals.
No fun living under the gun.
Let's add multiband compression on the drums. Let's select the sidechain input from the vocals. Focus on how many steps I need to go through in order to get the desired result.
No fun living under the gun. living under the gun. No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun.
Let's A/B the plugin so we can hear the difference.
No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun.
So yeah, this obviously gives you a really transparent result, but you do need to tweak some parameters. Let's use Fuser and see how much quicker this is. So I loaded Fuser onto the drum group. Let's set the sidechain input from the vocals.
No fun living under the gun. 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 No fun living under the gun.
Let's A/B the plugin so we can hear the difference.
No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun. No fun living under the gun.
Again, really transparent result, but a lot more easier to set up. The plugin is showing you in red the conflicting area, so it helps you skip the guesswork if you're not really good with figuring out yourself where is the problematic area. Next, we want to tame problematic frequencies from the drums. We will compare the plugin Reso by mastering the mix to a dynamic EQ. Let's start with the dynamic EQ. Let's add FabFilter Pro Q3, and again, notice the amount of steps I need to go through in order to get the desired result. For this, we will solo the drums. Press Ctrl to get the gain back to 0 and then slide this slider down. And we will just do this several times. This obviously does a great job, but Reso is much quicker, and saving time is essential to help you enjoy the mixing process. So I loaded Reso onto the same channel. The first thing I will do is click on this button. This will help you scan through the frequencies with the mouse and hear clearly what frequencies you need to reduce. Double click to add a point. Visually, this plugin is really nice as well. Next thing we need to do is click and select all of them and press Ctrl to lock them to the frequency so they won't move, and then drag them down. And you can see what is exactly being reduced. Let's A/B that. Let's hear for what exactly is being reduced. All this is being reduced by Reso. So for each of these bands, Reso is setting an automatic cue. I can make the cue narrow or wider by using my trackpad. But I really like the fact that Reso is doing it automatically. So notice how in the higher frequencies the cues are really narrow, and in the low frequencies the cues are a little bit wider. So let's compare the difference between the two plugins, FabFilter and Reso. Both sound very similar, but Reso is much quicker to operate. The next issue is with our guitar. There is a lot of harsh frequencies and it's a melody, so the frequencies are moving around. So Reso will not help us here to attenuate those frequencies. What we need is a similar plugin to Soothe 2. If you're familiar with Soothe 2, that is a dynamic resonance suppressor, but you can use Fuser to do the same thing. Let's load Fuser onto the guitar group. This time we don't need to set a sidechain input. We'll press play and start adding bands. This is exactly what Reso is reducing in volume. Let's A/B the plugin. You can notice quite clearly that with Reso on, the guitar sounds much more smooth. Those sharp transients have disappeared and it sounds tamed, balanced and smooth. And this is the exact same thing that Soothe 2 will do. So it's obviously quite difficult to tell how much time exactly you're going to save, but we can for sure say that it's a lot. And there are much quicker and a more efficient way to resolve issues such as masking frequencies or taming harsh ones. So this video obviously doesn't teach you everything you know to know about mixing, but there is one plugin that is teaching you everything you need to know to get your mixes sounding professional and like your favorite producers. And watch this video to find out more.